Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Basic Math. What I want to do today is we're going to start fractions, but what I want to do, I want to do another word problem just to kind of wrap up decimals. And we'll be going back to decimals when we talk about fractions, decimals to fractions. But what I want to do today before we do fractions is I gave us a word problem. So it says if you want to buy the least expensive cereals of two brands. Okay, so brand A costs it's $3.50 for a 14-ounce box, and brand B is $4.68 for an 18-ounce box. So what we want to find out here is how much it costs per ounce for each box. So what we do for brand A, we would do 14 and do $3.50. First thing we want to do is bring the decimal up. And we know 14 goes into 35 two times. 2 times 14 is 28. The 15 minus the 8 is 7. We bring the 0 down. And then 14 goes into 75 times. So brand A, it's going to cost 25 cents an ounce. Okay. And we do the same thing for brand B. We put 18 into $4.68. We know 18 goes into 46 two times. Oops, I want to bring the decimal up first. And that's going to be 36. And that's going to be 108. We bring the 8 down, and 18 goes into 108 six times. So brand B is going to be 26 cents an ounce, and brand A is 25 cents an ounce. So brand A is going to be a penny cheaper. So if we're trying to find the cheapest cereal, we'd buy brand A, okay? And that's kind of a word problem that we might get on the task test, and this is what we've been working on, okay? So we're going to move on to fractions, okay? So what I want to do with fractions is just talk about some vocabulary. So you're going to hear the numerator. And the numerator of a fraction, if we have 2 over 4, the numerator is going to be the top number, and the bottom number is going to be the denominator. Okay? So numerator's top, denominator's bottom. One way I used to always remember denominator, it starts with D, and D is down. So the top number is the numerator, the bottom number is the denominator. Okay? And one other thing we're going to ask you to do, it's called simplify fractions. And that's the same as reducing. Those two words are the same. So if you see simplifying or reduce, it means the same thing. And I'll show you an example. So if we have 5 over 10, we could take 5 out of the numerator and 5 out of the denominator, and that's going to equal 1/2. So if you see something get simplify or reduce, it just means we have to get in the lowest terms. Okay? So those are just some words we're going to start with. We'll do a little bit more, but just remember numerator is always the top number. Denominator is the bottom number. And simplifying and reducing fractions are kind of the exact same thing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with just a simple number line, you guys. So if we're going to start our number line at 0, and we're going to go out to 1. Okay. And right in the middle of that would be 1/2. So, and then if I put other fractions on there, so we know half is in the middle. Okay, 2/3 would go out here. So 2/3 is going to be bigger than 1/2. And then maybe over here, I have 1/4, and that's smaller. So that's kind of a quarter, that's a half, and that's 2/3. Okay, and if we're looking at this, if we start with 0 cents up to $1, 1/4 of $1 is 25 cents. 1/2 is 50 cents. 2/3 is like 67 cents. Okay. So basically, we know that basically as we move closer to the 1, the fraction's going to get bigger. And then I could even do down here would be 5/6 would be bigger than 2/3 and 1/2. And then even between the 1/4 and the 1/2 would be, we could have 3/7. So as we move closer to the 1, the fractions are going to get bigger. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But just try to keep in mind as you get closer to the 1, the fractions are going to get larger. So 5/6 is the biggest fraction we have on that number line. Okay. All right. So next thing I want to show you guys is I want to do a little more vocabulary. So if you see the word proper fraction, a proper fraction would be like 2/3. The numerator is smaller than the denominator. That's a proper fraction. And then we're going to have an improper fraction where it's the opposite. And I'm just going to use these numbers here. Improper fraction, it's going to be 3/2. That means the numerator is bigger than the denominator. The top number is bigger than the denominator. So that's an improper fraction. Whenever you see an improper fraction, the top number is going to be bigger than the bottom number. Okay. Another type of fraction we'll see is mixed. And mixed means it's going to have a whole number. I'm just going to use 1, and then we'll use 2/3 again. That's mixed because we have a whole number and a fraction. So that'd be considered a mixed fraction. The last thing we're going to have is whole number. And this was pretty straightforward. And I'm just going to use 1. So our whole number would be 1. So we have the proper fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. The 2 is smaller than the 3. Then we're going to have the improper fraction where it's the opposite, where the top number is bigger than the bottom number. That means it's improper. Okay. Then we're going to have a mixed fraction where you have a whole number and also a fraction. And then we just have the straight whole number where it's just a whole number and no fraction attached to it. So you're going to see those different terms come up. So just keep in mind, big two are the proper and the improper. Proper is just numerator is smaller than the denominator. The improper fraction is when the top number of the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Okay. All right. So, you guys, what I'd like to do now is we're going to look at how we use some of this vocabulary. Okay, so I'm going to say I want you guys to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number.
I'm coming back Saturday. She's coming back Friday.
So the mixed number and mixed fraction. So we're going to get a whole number and a fraction out of this. So the first one I'm going to use is, let's say we have 53/10. Okay. So we know that's a mixed number because the top 53 is bigger than the bottom. Okay. So when you see that, what we're going to a lot of times have to do is we're going to have to convert that to a mixed number. And how we would do that is we're just going to divide the bottom number, the 10, into the top number. So if we do 10 into 53, okay. So we know 10 goes into 53 5 times. Then 5 times 10 is 50. And it's going to leave us 3 left over. Okay. And that 3 is always going to go over this number right here. So it's going to be 3 tenths. We have 3 left over. It'll go over the number on the outside of the divisor. So this would actually be 5 and 3 tenths. So we've converted this mixed number 53 over 10 we converted this improper fraction 53 over 10 to a mixed number to 5 and 3 tenths. Okay. And what I'm going to show you too is we can convert this number, this mixed number, right back into improper fraction. So if we have 5 and 3 tenths, and it says convert this mixed number to improper fraction, what we do is the 10 times 5 plus 3, you're going to get 10 times 5 is 50 plus the 3 over 10. And what that's going to give us is 53 over 10, which if you look up here, that was our original starting fraction. So 53 over 10 can be written as 5 and 3 tenths. And if we got the starting as 5 and 3 tenths, it asks you convert that to a mixed number. Remember, we're going to multiply the denominator times the whole number and add it to the numerator. So it's just kind of reversing. It's the exact same number. 53 over 10 is equal to 5 and 3 tenths. Those are the exact same fraction. One is written as an improper fraction, and one is written as a mixed number. So let's do another one here. If we do 23 over 10, you're going to say, well, this is an improper fraction because the top number, this 23, is bigger than the numerator. Okay, so that's going to usually be an indicator to you when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, that's going to be an improper fraction. So what we do is we're going to divide the bottom into the top, so 10 into 23. So 10 goes into 23 2 times. 2 times 10 is going to be 20. 3 is going to be left over, and we're going to put the 3 over the 10. So how we write this is 2 and 3 tenths. And if we started with this, a mixed number, and it said convert that to an improper fraction, you'd be like, okay, what I need to do is multiply the denominator, the bottom number, times the whole number, and that's going to be 20 plus the 3. And so it's going to be 20 plus 3 over 10. And what that equals is 23 over 10. And we got right back to where we started right there. So mixed numbers and improper fractions, a lot of times they're going to ask you convert this improper fraction to a mixed number, or it's going to ask you the opposite, convert the 2 and 3 tenths to an improper fraction. Okay, so I'll do one more here. Let's start the opposite way. If we have 2 and 1/7, which is a mixed number, we have a whole number and a fraction, and we want to convert that into an improper fraction. So how we do that is we multiply the denominator, the 7, times the whole number, which is 14, plus the 1. So that's going to be 2 times 7 plus 1 over 7. So what that's going to be is 15 over 7. Okay. And then the same thing is if we get a improper fraction, which is the 15 over the 7, because the top number is bigger than the bottom number, we would just divide the bottom number, the 7, into the top number, which is 15. We know it goes 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. There's going to be 1 left over. And remember that 1 always goes over the 7. So that would be 2 and 1, 7. Okay. So I'm going to stop there for today, you guys. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to post some work for you guys to work on converting the improper fraction. Remember, improper is going to be, if we go back up and look at what improper is, that means that right here, that the numerator, the top number, is bigger than the bottom number, the denominator. And then we're going to work on some mixed numbers, which is when you have a whole number and a fraction, converting that to an improper fraction. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys on Friday. Have a good day.